have traveled to 11 countries by the age of 21, and I didn't realize how much of a blessing it was before now. Now I understand the change, the transformation, and how much I can grow from changing places. Traveling can be scary. It can be hard. You can get lost, you can struggle with heavy luggage, you might meet people you won't get along with, you might try foods you will not enjoy, you might feel lonely. And the scariest part, you might outgrow people and places you're leaving behind when going on new adventures. There's a quote that I really like by British writer Pico Iyer that says, "A person susceptible to wanderlust is not so much addicted to movement as committed to transformation." I couldn't agree more, because no matter how aware you are of the fact that traveling will change you never know the extent. The way I see it, you are starting as a small person wandering around the world, and then you become bigger with every new adventure. It doesn't mean that you are not smart or not good enough before going somewhere, surely not. But the way your mind expands as you see new places is beyond your understanding at first. Before I started traveling regularly, I never enjoyed the road. I was so frustrated every time I had to go anywhere, because in daily life I was a mess. I was a complete disaster. I could never find my way in new surroundings. I was confused by big railway stations and especially the airports. I couldn't put together my luggage without having a few breakdowns. And then eventually I found myself calmly packing a suitcase before moving cities within a foreign country on my own. What helped me is not the happiest story, because I'm Ukrainian, and at some point of my life I have learned to pack my whole life in 1 or 2 suitcases and go anywhere if I needed to. So for me it was a critical skill, but even if you are not under this kind of pressure, you'll still have to pack your bags, and every time it will get easier because you'll understand how it works. Eventually I stopped panicking, and it doesn't mean that I hacked how it works and I navigate every new place perfectly well. In fact, when I was moving cities calmly on my own, I arrived at the bus station an hour before the scheduled trip, but I couldn't find the bus itself until 2 minutes before its departure. And that's okay, it happens, trips always take unexpected turns. I also started being okay with sleeping on the way, and the fact that transport isn't always the cleanest place to be in. I don't worry too much about it now, and I definitely know that the way is worth the destination. This experience opened up for me as a grown-up. I only started traveling abroad as a grown-up because we couldn't really afford it as a family when I was little. Also, my very first 2 trips were as a teen, to Finland and to the Czech Republic. They were for sports, and I focused on championships, and new countries were more of a bonus. Then I have traveled or more relocated to the UK. I have lived there for 4 months when the full-scale invasion in Ukraine started. Then my first real independent and happy trip was to Paris when I was 19. That's a magical city and a magical experience. Then we also finally had vacations or road trips with my family. We went to Croatia, Italy, Poland and Austria, and now I have moved to Spain on my own. I've lived in Sevilla for a month and then moved to a city near Alicante. And somewhere in the middle of those trips, people started calling me a traveler. They started saying, "Oh, you love traveling. Oh, you've been to so many places." People who don't know much about me started wishing me more exciting travels on my birthday. And that's when realization hit. It was the biggest surprise to me, because I didn't catch a moment when I've become this person. I never even thought of getting to this point. So turns out people around you might see you as a traveler sooner than you admit it yourself. If you're surrounded by great supporting people in your real life, and by real life I mean your home or place where most of your friends and family are, if you are in a great circle of people and then you go traveling by yourself, there's no feeling this void of wanting to share this experience with them. And it's not even about loneliness, and it doesn't apply only to people who struggle to be alone, because I have no problem staying alone for quite some time. I mostly enjoy my own company and peace and quiet, but every time I'm in a new gorgeous place, all I can think about is how much I want to show it to someone I love. For me, traveling is about love in many ways, and seeing the world together is one of the most empowering activities ever. So if you have people you love deeply somewhere in the world, you'll miss them 10 times more every time you experience new gorgeous places. When traveling, you'll also meet new acquaintances. People from diverse backgrounds who speak languages unknown to you. And I didn't start talking about languages for no reason. I'm very sure that the more languages you know, the wiser you are as a human being. It honestly influences your mindset so much. Language is a very straightforward illustration of how your mind works. Same events are articulated differently in some languages. An example that I heard from a TED Talk long ago: what we hear in English as "someone broke a vase" in Spanish would sound as a vase broke itself. So the focus is different on who to blame in a particular situation. Same way, our entire perception of the world widens if we know how people perceive it in other cultures. It will be easier for you to understand a foreigner when you know more about their culture. And language is a massive cultural part. You don't have to be fluent or not even to speak the language, you just need to understand how it works. Language is not what you speak, language is how clear your vision on the world around you is. Exploring new cultures and changing environments is the most refreshing and inspiring lifestyle you can choose. You might get tired from being on the road or generally from being in new surroundings all the time, but you'll stay energized, inspired, and motivated to build the life of your dreams. When you constantly see new, different lifestyle, you have this urge, this hunger of improving yourself, transforming yourself, adding the points you were missing to your life. It almost feels like, was it really that easy? You can forget your old bad habits and replace them with new, better daily patterns. You can find a new favorite bakery on the other side of the world instead of the corner of your old house. You can meet someone and fall in love with their wild desire to live, even if you thought in your past that you wouldn't handle this much energy. Traveling sets you free to feel whatever you want, to be whoever you dream of being. There'll be nothing stopping you from embracing yourself. It's easier to set boundaries and find what you truly enjoy in certain environments, foods, habits, people and places. You'll know how you allow people to treat you. You'll find countries where you feel most comfortable, most confident, and most beautiful. Traveling will make you the most yourself with a vision as clear as you never hoped to have in your entire life. And a very important note, it's not money that's stopping you from changing your life. The highest price you pay for a new, improved lifestyle is breaking all the rules and patterns you've had in your head before. You'll have to open up, be vulnerable, and be ready to accept that you were wrong sometimes, that you should have been more courageous and more straightforward, that you should have risked it all long ago and embraced the uncertainty. Because this uncertainty is a place where you'll meet your true self and sparkle up your desire to live even more.